anyway, I'm going to get on my professor thing here in a second. All right, I'm going to go 45-40 Oklahoma with a couple takeaways by the defense, by OU defense being the difference because, well, I'm allowing myself such wishful thinking. Friggin' what? 2 takeaways in 3 games? 2 and 3? And Grinch out here talking about, let's get 26 in 10 games? You must be crazy. They ain't got 24 takeaways since he got here. Like, total. Anyway, I'm glad it's 11 a.m. kick so I can get it out of my system. You know, I can get it out of my system. It'll be done by the time I got to go on air.
Oh, man. I hope you don't have to make another well, actually, I hope you do. Let me rephrase. I hope you have to make another Woosah video.
Man,
you know?
I had my co-host on ESPN Radio talk about, so RJ, when we get off of this, you going to make a video? I know you've been on with us. All right, I'm setting my alarm for 1:20 a.m., and I expect there will be a video. I'm going, damn it. All right, so the game that's going to be on, or just going off, I should say, when I go on Saturday is Miami at Clemson, number 7 versus number 1. Fun fact there to start with, Clemson has never beaten Miami in Death Valley. Now, they played twice, right? One went to triple overtime in 2005. The other one was not close, 31-20 in 2010. And we know who De'Aaron King is, and we know who Trevor Lawrence is.
Sure.
I think the things that I'm most excited about is what does Blake Baker's defense do against Travis Etienne, who could break Tiki Barber's record for 100-yard rushing games in the ACC in a career with 19. And can De'Aaron King actually get the better part of Brent Venables? Because it doesn't look like nobody else can. Like, what are you excited about with this game?
So I'm excited in regards to De'Aaron King, of just seeing him work with his playmakers, you know, and you know, they have some NFL guys over there. Like Brevin Jordan's going to play on Sundays. You know,
Will Mallory can play too.
Yeah. I mean, so when you're looking at how in the offense that he's now being allowed to work with Rhett Lashley, that's a fun matchup just between coordinators, right? And the weapon that he has in the De'Aaron King of utilizing his legs and trying to give Clemson fits. Then the other thing too is like Trevor Lawrence, you know, with Justin Ross being out, he's starting to work a lot with Amari Rodgers, who's a veteran, but you know, the other young man, Layden, or number 2 on Clemson, he's been starting to eat, and you're seeing, this is like what the NFL wants to see from Trevor Lawrence. Can you make other guys, elevate other guys, make them around you better, right? No matter who you're working with. And when you're standing next to Travis Etienne in the backfield, it makes your job a lot easier, right? So I think that's a fun matchup. I do think Clemson, though, just too many horses on the defensive side of the ball to keep Miami at bay from what I see.
So Miami also got a defensive line with edge dudes, end dudes that I absolutely love. One, Jalen Phillips, former number 1 player in the country, right? Transfer from
I'm glad he's back playing football, by the way.
I am too. I wanted to come to
He had
Oklahoma.
retired for a little bit.
Yeah, and thinking about that, you know, he basically getting a second opinion, kind of what Grant Calcaterra is looking to do, because he had retired from football and he's looking to play next year. We'll see where he ends up. And then, of course, Quincy Roach, like that dude had 15 sacks in the American, and I keep my eye on the American because, you know, I'm a University of Tulsa alumnus. So, you know, I kind of, like, I look up and I said, Temple got a dude? He said, not for long. I'm grad transferring over there to Miami. I can't, man, if they'd have had Greg Rousseau, this would have been so much more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you could run all 3 of them dudes. Like, let's go.
Those stunts would have been crazy.
And
man.
I would like nothing more than the dude that was going to leave for the job at Temple, who reneged on his job at Temple to come back to Miami to go and beat up on sainted Dabo Swinney. Dude getting on my nerves. Clemson fans getting on my nerves. Don't nobody like Clemson fans. But then again, you know, don't nobody like Miami fans. And yet, here we are talking about the number 1 team in the country, number 7 team in the country. I'm wondering if Miami actually gets to answer the question that I'm gonna put to you. Is Texas back?
So Miami is not back. Nobody's back until they prove it, RJ.
What's it gonna take to prove it, though? What's it gonna take?
Now, if they beat Clemson, that is a huge step in the right direction, right? Like North Carolina almost beat Clemson last year. Like there's games where you can be winnable and try to, to dethrone somebody per se in the ACC. It's just where Miami was, come on now, in the 90s and in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the guys they were training out to the NFL, and they still have NFL guys. It's just they have to get to the point too where, we see them, it's no different than Texas, where they get to the conference championship and they win it. That's the same standard that we have here at Texas that they have at Miami.
Last time Miami went on the road to play a number 1 team and beat them is November 16th, 1991. Last time that they got a win over a number 1 team, also October 7th, 2000 against the same team, Florida State. And now we face a Clemson team that is looking to improve to, and I wrote this down, make sure I get it right, 21-3 against top 25 teams since 2015. And 7-2 in top 10 matchups since the 2016 season. Like, Clemson eats these games up.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this. De'Aaron King, Rhett Lashley, averaged 500 yards a game. 499, right? And in ACC, that's the number 1 offense in the country. Or in the ACC.
In ACC.
So we got Jalen Knighton back there. We got Cameron Harris back there. Jalen Knighton, who was once committed to Oklahoma and got pushed out the boat for, I think it's Marcus Major. He got pushed out the boat in 2020. Oh, snap. That's right, because Jason McClellan was in the boat. Seth McGowan got into the boat, and then Jason McClellan ended up flipping his commitment to Alabama.
Yep.
Anyway, I got to watch that dude play football. I'm interested in this game because I like seeing De'Aaron King do things. And I like knowing that he broke a record held by Tim Tebow because I can't stand conversation about Tim Tebow. Because every time I talk about Tim Tebow, people want to tell me he's the best college football player ever. And I say, Cam Newton exists, dog. Cam Newton exists. You know who else exists?
Vince Young.
Like, I don't know too many quarterbacks that are just able to make it happen like that. Joe Burrow is up there, but you also look at what Joe Burrow was actually able to use. And nobody talks about Andre Ware. Like, when I feel like you talk about Joe Burrow, you need to talk about Andre Ware. But Andre Ware's games weren't on television. Won 1989 Heisman without a game on television. He was cold.
He was awesome. Unfortunately, he was cursed and went to Detroit Lions.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders. Yeah, man. Maybe Sam Ehlinger could turn around the New York Jets. Maybe that's his destiny.
The shots that continue to go on with Sam Ehlinger, I want to see if this is your energy next week. Hey, man. Because
Baker's at
I
the
know
Cleveland
he's going to be
Browns.
sharp on Saturday.
Baker's at the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, Baker got to be the bus driver this week as, they ran the ball down our throats. So, I took my hat to
165 yards passing. Dak throws to 502. Like, what? What
are we doing?
I know. Like, Jarvis. All right, so my best friend, tell you this story, I'll let you go. My best friend and I were talking about Jarvis Landry and that wide receiver throwback, right? And he loaded the hell up on that football. Like, I was like, cool, I throw a football farther than Jarvis Landry. Because dude had to load up. And then his tweet the next day is like, I threw one pass. Felt like I threw 9 innings.
Yeah, he's like, I threw 9 innings.
Right.
Felt like I threw 9. That ball almost hit the ground. That's how far he cocked his arm back.
Yeah, and I was dying. I'm on the floor. It's like, hey, man, you actually did more work than Baker had to do. Like, they're running end arounds to OBJ, and he's out there just styling on the defense.
Dude, you can't even do that in Madden, man. Like, I mean, it's an embarrassment. One of
Who the hell is Dearness Johnson? Who is that dude?
Dearness Johnson. I think he played for Charlie Strong. He played for Charles Strong, actually.
Golly. I looked up and I said, I never heard of this cat. That's who we were getting cooked by.
That's who we were getting cooked by. I mean, look, they had Baker Mayfield is one of the lead blockers on one of the end around, and Everson Griffin didn't even, destroy him. So that tells you everything you need to know about the Patriots defense.
Like, Everson Griffin, what are you doing? DeMarcus Lawrence, give me your money. You stealing from him. And I got to deal with all these.
I've started calling him Tank Abagnale Jr.
And then Taco Charlton leaves, and all of a sudden he can play. Like, maybe that's what it's going to take. You know? And I keep saying bring Earl Campbell into the Dallas Cowboys, not because I think that Earl Campbell's going to be that much better than what we got, though Earl Campbell is a great safety. It's because I want the Earl Campbell.
You mean Earl
experience.
Thomas? I would love to get Earl Campbell resurrected.
Oh, you know,
Earl Thomas?
I keep doing this. So I did this yesterday with LJ Humphrey. No, thank you. No, seriously. I said LJ Duvernay, and I got roasted. I said, y'all know who I meant. Why y'all doing this?
We talk for a living, man. It happens. I said Dabo Fisher yesterday.
All right, so like this is actually something
it happens to the best of us.
I've been interested to talk with because the sports media stuff. I'm just a nerd about, and I'm thinking about how many names we are expected to know, how many stats we are expected to know, how much stuff we are just supposed to be able to spit off the dome while these breaking news events happen, and that you know the game is the game. Right? And you got to get people's names right, but not just getting people's names right, but like pronunciation of their names right. And I've always envied broadcasters who get to sit down with coaches, with SIDs and players and say, yo, man, how do I say your name? Okay. How do I say your mother's name? Like that whole Josh Moore deal, like where his mama got on Twitter and was like, look here, it's the book of Joshua. It is not the book of Josh. My son's name is Joshua.
I love that.
Me too.
I love that.
Me too. But like I'm also like I'm that dude going, ma'am, I didn't mean. You know what?
Right.
Don't matter what I meant. You right.
But to your point though, that's where the SID and the producers and all the other folks where they have, I mean, even at the high school level, right, where they have the name and then they have the pronunciation or preferred what the person wants to be called. You saw this with Patrick Mahomes as well, right? Where they kept calling him Pat, and then his mom goes off on Twitter. It's like, who's Pat? Pat's not my kid.
Wow,
my kid is Patrick Mahomes.
Right. And you know, like that's it's the worst feeling because with one exception, like just to troll Alabama fans, because I did this with Quinnen Williams, right? I called him Quinnen Miller. Because, you know, there's another outside linebacker who's really good. His name is Christian Miller, right? And I would get the two confused because they're both just eating people alive. And then I just decided to roll with it. And not enough people picked up the joke, so I had to stop the joke because it's not a joke if nobody finds it funny, right?
Yeah.
But on that front, I'm listening to Gus Johnson. I'd be like, yo, he ain't trying to do that on purpose, man. Like, he called Grant Calcaterra Grant Calcutta, and nobody let him forget it. You know. I'm serious. Like, I'm watching Miami and L.A. last night.
I know where you're going.
And I can hear Kendrick Perkins going, Adebayo. And I'm going, yo, man, Adebayo. The hell with that. Bam. You know, I'm going to call, like, I had a producer on my radio show, right, who could not say Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? And he would just call him Greek Freak. Because he didn't want to screw it up. And this is Tulsa. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma. Don't nobody in Tulsa, Oklahoma care that you mispronounce Giannis's name. But he cared because he got called on it one time. Dude called in a radio station to bless him out. How come you don't know this man's Greek name? I'm sorry. I try. I really do. So I think about that stuff all the time. That's why I'm sometimes very excited when somebody has an Anglo-Saxon name. Other days I'm going, ooh, how am I going to mess this up? Is there a pronunciation on the website? Yay. Cool. Got that. Sigh. Cool. Like I'm writing it out phonetically, making sure I don't mess this up. Keandre. And then don't mess up and put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Like Derek King, that's the man's name. Derek King, his mama gonna tell you she don't know who that is.
Yeah, who is that? Who's Derek King?
I'm trying. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you. Right. You know, like, remember, I'm on national television talking about this. I'm on national radio talking about this. It does me no good to mess up your child's name. By all means. Like, DJ Uiagalelei, right?
Oh, he's got one of the tougher ones, man.
Yo, man.
I saw them struggling in the Army, on the All-American Army Bowl, whatever. So my goodness.
So Greg Biggins is the homie, right? Covers the West Coast for 247. Really outstanding reporter and analyst. Does this stuff, right?
Dope.
And I said, Greg, you know, like I know, we all got to be able to say this kid's name because it's him and Bryce Young. And I ain't got no problems with Bryce Young, and I ain't got no problems with DJ. I have a problem with his name. And, he said, cool, I'm going to send you a recording that his father made for me because I was mispronouncing his name. And Greg covered this dude as tightly as anybody has covered DJ so far, right? Nobody has covered him as much as Greg Biggins has. And yet he was like, nah, I'm going to do you that solid because you out there talking for a living. And I know how you must feel because you're not out here trying to make mistakes, but you see all these vowels together and all these consonants together and you say, hey, man, like, hold up. I've never seen this collection before. These are not chunks that I learned in phonics. Can you help me out? And then the worst part is when people be like, nah, just say my name. Nah, man, I don't want to play that game. Nah, I just want to hear how you say it. No, you don't. You want to make fun of me for how I mispronounce your name so that your mama can call me to bless me out, not knowing that you told me to just come out here and just say your name, knowing that I'm going to get laughed at and I'm going to get trolled because you wanted the funnies. Nah.
I see both sides of it, RJ. As somebody who has a Cameroonian last name myself.
Hey, what was
growing up?
What was the first thing I asked you? What was the first thing I ever asked you?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Tell the people how to pronounce your last name.
Ngati.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
Ngati.
So, like, the way that I remembered this, y'all, I read and watched a lot of, gangster movies, and there was a dude by the name of John Gotti, and then there was another dude that came out who was even more gangster, and he is Yo Gotti. That's how I got to Ngati. So, if you need to, perhaps remember that you listened to Yo Gotti. Perhaps remember that John Gotti was one of the made men in American mob scene. And yet, here we are being like, yo, man, can we just call him Steve? Can is that going to be okay?
8 deep, man. It was what, a 5-second conversation for us?
Yes.
8 deep.
Yes. Yes. But it's like that. All right, man, I asked you to do this for like an hour. We already over. Is there anything else you want to talk about we didn't get to talk about?
Nah, man. I just echo the importance going back to the Texas OU stuff. Excuse me, Texas OU stuff. I echo the importance of what this. Yeah, I know. Everybody's been beating them up about it, but it's just talking fast, right? Okay. So, Texas OU, in terms of the significance for Tom, is paramount, and I think that's just the overlying theme here. Because at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen in Lincoln Riley if you guys have an awful year and you come back and run it back in 2021 with everything that's going on. I know it's you and the Oklahoma folks on here don't want to hear that, but we've been in this horrible cycle for over a decade now.
10 years.
Right? So it's time. It's time to do, like, at this point, it's just like, dude, just win the conference. This isn't a great conference. You know it. I know it. We watch these teams. We see them every week. I mean, just win the conference, right? And you have to go. You have to go through OU, because in some ways this may potentially be an elimination game. Who knows? So, I appreciate you bringing me on the show, man, and letting us wrap it up. And hopefully we can get together and recap, but I appreciate you.
Nah, man, I'm here for it. Subscribe to Fanatic Perspective. Man, Steven Ngati and Tran do a great job breaking down Texas. I do check in on it from time to time, especially when there's a little bit more depth to what I'm looking for, and that's certainly what you're going to get there. On these here YouTubes, we got to go deep. We got to stay narrow. Otherwise, people get real pissy and mean at us. Be like, yo, man, today I want to give you 2 minutes on, I don't know, Georgia, Alabama. Nah, you better be able to talk about the third dude on the depth chart. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make it very long. And that's what this man does. And if you are new to the channel, you probably don't know this, but I don't have a lot of people on because there aren't a lot of people that I want to talk to. And Steven is one of those dudes I like talking to. There's a link in the description below to where you can find his channel. And please do me a favor and subscribe to it. And we will catch y'all, Saturday. Yeah, I might be hiding out. I might be high now. All right. Doses.
Hook 'em.
My man. I appreciate you, homie.